Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. This is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. So, this week, the Texans are going to be going on the road to face a very tough Buffalo Bills team. But we'll touch on all that later on. But before we get into that, let's do a quick recap of week three. And by quick, I mean ain't nothing really to talk about. The only thing I have to offer for uh, only commentary I had to offer for the Texans in week three is Mills look good in the 2 minute drills and the up tempo drills. 2 minute drills. That's when he threw his touchdown at the end of the half. I think when they came back out and they went up tempo, he really looked efficient in there, really confident during that drive. But alas, nothing really fizzled out or excuse me, nothing really panned out after that. So um, it was he looked as good as he was probably going to look. He's obviously still got a work in progress. So we'll see what he can do. Coming this Sunday. That's not to excuse him or anything, because just overall the team just did not play great at all. They couldn't they didn't really capitalize on when McCaffrey went out. There was a couple times they try to they forced a three and out here and there, but um, they still couldn't stop the other weapons. They couldn't stop the DJ Moores and all those other people. They still gave up 300 yards to Sam Darnold straight. Um, I don't think, yeah, I don't think he's not had a 300-yard game this year, which is crazy considering Sam Darnold from the Jets. But hey, find yourself at the right place at the right time. Um, but this ain't a Panthers broadcast, so it's whatever. It is what it is. Texans. Like I said, biggest preseason ever. There's I think there's really just out there just kind of playing these games just to play them, but still they have to do better just overall. So one quick thing I want, well, it's probably not going to be as quick as I wanted it to be, depending on where I go with this. But one thing I did want to touch on is Watson trade news. So this week, the sirens went off about the Watson trade once again. It started, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday that it was reported Jeffrey Lurie had greenlighted the Eagles to, pursue a trade for Deshaun Watson. The crazy part was, and it came in the wake of, the Eagles losing to the Cowboys. Jalen Hurts, he did all right. He didn't have the most spectacular game. Obviously, because he lost his stat line, I think he still had like 300 yards passing. But they got blown out like completely, and so a lot of those yards probably could have been was probably just garbage yards to begin with. So yeah, it was reported he was making a trade this week, and so that set off Twitter or internet or whatever. Definitely set off the fan bases. Putting their 2 cents in. And one of the things that did pop out before I actually get into the meat and potatoes of like what I really wanted to talk about. One of the things that really popped out was there was a discussion of would you take Jalen Hurts versus Tua Tagovailoa or whatever, and so with Tua, it's we all know you know, first round pick of the Dolphins. And they brought his name up, because Miami has been, put in those has been, reportedly in those trade talks with the Texans. Part of his, kind of sending back our picks that we gave them for Larry Tunsil. And so, they've been in that discussion quite a bit. And so my thing is this, and they also brought up the Panthers as well, but obviously that's a far gone conclusion as far as as far as like a trade or whatever. But going back to Miami, my thing is this: if choosing between Hurts and Tua, I would definitely have to take Hurts. And so my reasoning got a couple reasons actually. So Tua, he's already hurt. And this is his second year. He's already, took a huge injury and everything. So to me, he's damaged goods. In addition, and when I was rehearsing this, I didn't really think about, he has a injury history. In college, that was, that's how he kind of ended his career. Just being hurt and everything. And so, I think with yeah, so I think with that said, like combine that with what he's going with now, I kind of feel like he's damaged goods. In addition to, he's still a young quarterback that what I'm saying. You probably gotta you gotta really just probably put the work in a little bit more. I don't know how this affects. I don't know how this affects his psyche really, as far as like going forward, because and if he going forward, if he was to come here, he's a young quarterback. He's been hurt. He took a serious rib injury or whatever, and so it's him coming here, trying to heal, and then trying not to stay hurt, but then kind of continue his development. That could be a lot for a young professional. So I don't know how that just really affects him like early on, and everything is if it really just makes him like brings him to be the best of his abilities. With Hurts, the things that I like is that what I'm saying, he hasn't quote unquote been hurt yet, but he doesn't have that much experience either. He doesn't even have a full season under his belt, which I think can be a good thing. He's still still learning. And then when I mean doesn't have a full season, I mean a full season as a starter. Like I think he's started less games than Tua actually has. I have to go check that, but I know Tua started a majority of last year. Hurts came in like at the tail end of the season, and he's had a little bit of success on that. He's open. He even opened the season up with a win. Um, no real injury history, and if he comes down here, because I figure like if the Eagles do trade for Deshaun Watson, they're not gonna keep a guy like Hurts, for very long. Either they let him go or he's gonna want to go. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well just send him down to Houston. And like I said, he doesn't have a full season starting under his belt, so he can still be developed and everything. And so you could try to find him like try to see how we can fit him, into this current offensive system and, probably possibly build around him for the future. And I mean, it seems, they had a similar skill set of Tyrod Taylor right now. And, Tyrod was balling, before he got hurt and everything. So let's just see, what we can do with, pretty much a little bit of a younger version of Tyrod, if you will, or even a younger version of Deshaun, if you will. So, um, that's where I stand with that. I'm definitely in favor of taking Jalen Hurts over to it. So we'll see how that goes if that ever goes. And so speaking of if it ever goes, um, I was looking at some tweets from NFL insider Josina Anderson, and a couple of things that she's brought up about the Deshaun Watson case and just the situation overall. Pretty interesting, I think. So let me see if I can. I probably passed it up. I played the video earlier, did not take notes, but um, pretty much her basic statement was like nothing has changed at all. So, but one of the things interestingly, one of the things she said was that you know, civil cases are scheduled to begin next week. So in those are the civil cases. So in the criminal investigation, the state hasn't put a date forth for that. What else? She mentioned. Oh, and so this another tweet that kind of jumped out at me, and I hope I'm not skipping anything. But she was like, it could take up to 1 or 2 years for full adjudication Sorry, y'all. It's Friday and I work 40 hours this week, so forgive me. For full adjudication in the Watson case, though anything can always happen at any time with potential settlement talks. At this point, an NFL owner has to decide to approve a trade without full clarity, with action, not words. Trade deadline November 2nd. So pretty much, she's saying that look, if an owner if an owner wants Deshaun Watson this season, they better go get him just blindly. And it seems like really risky and dumb to do, considering that he has these legal situations just kind of hanging over his head and everything. But I mean, at at this point, it's like if you really want him like now, then yeah, because it seems like this case is probably going to get dragged along, and the NFL, with legal implication, when there's legal implications involved, the NFL that they got to make their decision on certain things. So without those like you know, fully coming to a head like immediately, she's probably saying like, look, go get him now, keep him in the tuck, until everything's blown over, and just take your risk, shoot the dice on it. So that's pretty much where it is right now. Um, she, it's a, it's like I said before, it's a weird situation and everything, and so um, this is probably going to be a lot longer than what the Texans are willing to deal with, probably what Deshaun is willing to deal with, but probably what a lot of teams are willing to put up with. So it is what it is on that. So with that being said, um, just gonna go and quickly into the game tidbits for this Sunday. So Texans, after a disappointing loss to Carolina Panthers, are going on the road to face the Buffalo Bills. And so, look, I think, yeah, I said the Browns game was like a test. This is, listen, man, this isn't even a test for the, this isn't even a test for the Texans. This is a little. This ain't the type of test that they expect. A lot of people can kind of be comfortable with what the presumed result is, and I don't want to jinx nobody, but look, the way the season is going, there's really not a lot of things to really just focus on as far as like, what they can do for wins and everything. It seems like the opportunities for those are just, slipping by, each week, but there's still a lot of football left to play. And after this, I looked at the schedule. Things get a little bit rosier. So there should be some things to some games to look forward to. But this game, they just got to get past it. That's all there is. So Texans want to try to win this game. First thing they're going to have to do is make the opposing QB as uncomfortable as possible. So Josh Allen, man, he was, a couple times they tried to get him, and tried to get him in the backfield, try to take him down, but he was just elusive this game last week against the Redskins. So he was definitely moving around, getting outside the pocket, making throws down the field. And so what's going to have to happen is Texans might have to, employ a little bit more man coverage on these receivers because he was definitely spreading the ball around. Like, everybody talks about Stephon Diggs, of course, but he was getting the ball out to Cole Beasley. I think the other dude, Gabriel Davis. The tight end, he got the ball to him, got a touchdown for the tight end as well. So he's definitely like comfortable with like putting the ball in different people's hands. And I think Cole Beasley, almost either went past 90 yards receiving or probably well off into it. Now, I think he just stopped short of 100, but he had, he was really racking up the yards and everything. So I would definitely say keep the pass rush on him, just to keep him off rhythm. Because just if you can do that, that's gonna force them to like kind of revert to the run game. And that run game wasn't exciting to me in this particular game against Washington. And Washington, they got a all right defense. They wasn't all right that day, but they the run game didn't really just pop off the paper for me, so I don't think it's. I think it's something that can be defended. I think the Texans can defend the run pretty well in this game. They'll just have to, just really make sure that they get that pass rush going and keep Josh Allen off of rhythm. Now, on the flip side of that, the second thing the Texans got to do is make sure our quarterback is comfortable as possible. And so earlier I mentioned, Davis Mills looked good in the 2 minute drills and the up tempo drills. So um, I would say kind of implement more of that for him, more up tempo things, more 2 minute type drill movement for him early in the game, just to like get him in a rhythm. Because what I think it is, and I'm not a coach, so do not sign me for this. But what I think it is like when he's doing all these quick, uh, you know, these running the offense, in these quick moments, is making him, is forcing him to think. It's forcing him to think, but forcing him to not think. So it's forcing him to like make a decision, right then and there, and not really think about it too much and everything, and get out of his own head. So I think if they can, kind of do something with that, it might be able to help him out as far as like getting a little bit more comfortable within this offense. And they don't have to do it the whole game. Like you don't have to be like no huddle the whole game. Probably do a little bit just to at least get them across the 50-yard line. And once they get deep enough into the Bills territory, then maybe they can kind of slow things down and just help with more plays to that's more along his upside. So yeah, those are two things they got to do to try and win this game. Make the opposing QB as uncomfortable as possible, and make our quarterback comfortable as possible by delving into his strengths. So, with that being said, I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.